It's a good morning. How is everybody doing? If you're finding me for the first time, my name is Penny. Thank you for joining me. And if you are my regular fan, thanks for being so faithful to come here and listen to me talk. I know it's always a free talk, but I hope you are able to learn something. I hope I'm able to inspire one person. And I try to speak as much English as I can and clear for my non-Kenyan speakers. But today, I want to talk about something that is related to immigrants. Okay? The Americans do have it, but I want to focus on immigrants. So, a few days ago, a friend of mine called me. And for the Americans, if you remember the Jerry Springer show, that's what we're about to talk about. The Jerry Springer show where like everything goes. A friend of mine called me and she was telling me that her friend found her mother in bed with her husband. She had gone to work. She works doubles. She has 2 jobs. She's a nurse. And she got tired on her second shift and she decided to come back home. She didn't feel like staying through the shift. So she said around maybe 9-10, she decided to come home. When she came home, I don't even know the time anyway. She decided to come home, in short. When she came home, she found her children playing by themselves. And she was wondering, why are the kids by themselves? So she went into the house. You know, she picked one of the babies and was looking for the mom. She's like, where is mom? Then she went to look around. She got into the bedroom, her bedroom. Her mother was in bed with her husband. I'm telling you, I'm hearing this is a true story. And for those of you who used to watch Jerry Springer, you know these things happen. I want to say one thing as an immigrant. I came here at a very young age. I came here at 19 years old. I can't see clearly. I need to clear my vision. I was very young when I left Kenya. So this is home for me. And there are things that I thank God that I learned at a very young age. The do's and don'ts in America. Because you know what? America, there is no house help. America, there is nobody cooking and cleaning for you. The one thing that I learned that if you're going to start a family, you are going to have to make sacrifices. You're not going to be like anybody else if you choose to have children. Now, we have the tendency, we the immigrants, to bring our parents here to America. I've talked about this before. We take these mothers from our fathers and we yank them and we bring them here. I know a lot of you always reach me in the inbox and say, Penny, your mom has always been with you. I did not bring my mother to America. My brothers brought my mother to America. Let's clear that. That's number 1. Number 2, my father, my late father, was not okay that my mother was here. He was not okay. I have letters of him being very unhappy about that. Let's make that clear. I like to speak the truth because, I'm not answerable to anybody but myself. My father had 2 other wives in Kenya. And he said, you know what? I want my wife back. But the wife was not willing to go back. The sons were not willing to release their mother to go back. Let me remove my seatbelt. That is the truth, and it's okay because it's about to be in a book that you're going to read, stories about my family. And I learned that, if you start a family, you need to be there to raise your family. The other thing that I had in mind, even before I came to America, I was told by my Sabbath school teacher that you have to wait to get married to have sex. So I was waiting to get married so I can have sex. And the Sabbath school teacher used to say that the sex is great. And yes, I found out the sex is great at 21. And I married this man that I've never left. I'm not leaving this husband, though. I can't even do long distance. I'm speaking personally. Once I discovered this thing about sex, it's a great thing. So with intention, I decided I'm not working 2 jobs. And then I think it was 3 years later, we are tired with this thing. At 25, I became a mom. With intention. Along that way, I had seen, I used to babysit children whose parents were gone for long hours. So there was the one issue where You're not present for the children. There's the other issue where you're not home for your intimacy with your spouse. Now you come here, a lot of you come here at an older age. You're chasing the dollar. KCB, I'm wearing KCB hoodie. I bank with KCB and there's like maybe $100 in the account. There's no money there. You come here and you have such a drive. You want to achieve so many things. You want to build. You want to do this. I know a woman who has built like buildings and buildings in Kenya. But guess what? Her husband had another woman at work all this time because you know what? She was working doubles. He was working doubles. You must create schedules to be home with your children. Now, another thing, I was lucky. This is home for me. I came here one way. I knew this is home for me. And I met a man who this is home for him. We came one way. So we decided once we have children, we are working 9 to 5. My husband does not have the ability to do 16 hours. Never. You won't find Abraham doing 16 hours. When Friday hits, we are hanging out. We decided we are going to live a simple life and raise the children. Is intentional. Again, some of you will say, yes, your mother lived with you. Yes, but my mother was not here to come and babysit for me. I dropped my children in school and I came home to my children. But my family, those ones who really missed my mom in Kenya, think otherwise. They think we held Mama hostage here so she can babysit. Mama was not held hostage here. Mama wanted to stay here. Because you know, she lived with me. I was present. I dropped those kids every morning and I picked those kids. Another thing happened to me. When I moved to South Jersey 20 years ago, I joined a church called Fountain of Life. The best thing that ever happened to me. When I went to that church, I quickly learned something about Americans. American educated American women who had bachelors, who had masters, who had PhDs. Once they became mothers, they dropped down and raised the children. And they lived a simple life. Educated women whose parents took to college. Simple living. They went to the thrift store. They crocheted their own hats. They made their own things. American white women that I surrounded myself with. I was so blessed. Because those women taught me something that we didn't know. You know, we think Americans live a very extravagant life. They are not broke. But once their children came, they were janitors in those schools. They were cleaners. They were receptionists. They take little jobs. They take little jobs so that way they can raise the children while the husband is at work. You're asking me where's the problem? You won't know the problem because you don't have the problem. They've raised these children. Another person told me, Penny, even if you're there for your children, whether you raise them or you don't raise them, children are going to turn out how they want to turn out. Let me tell you something. You're better off raising your children and you're present 9 to 5 when they need you. And when they turn bad, you're going to say, I did my best. Now, let me live my life. My children who I was present for, they might not turn out 100%. But I was there. I'm peaceful. When I'm traveling, I'm in Dubai. Right now I'm traveling. I raised my children for 17 years, going to 20 years. Now I can be anywhere. Whatever the choices my children make after 18 years old, I do not have a problem with that because it's their choice, the way I chose their father. It is about time for them to make their own choices. But for you guys to bring these mothers here from their spouses, some of you, your mothers are like my age. I'm 50. Sex is still amazing. An orgasm at 50 is still as good. You get an orgasm and you think you're getting it for the first time. This is a car talk. If you think your mom is 50 and she's old, she's not old. Sex is a natural thing that God has given us. And you know, some of you married women who are married in Kenya and then you separate with your husbands, you took that sex for granted. You didn't think the man was always on you, always on you. You didn't think that one day you're going to come and the sex is going to be missed. And a lot of you, when you bring your mothers in their 50s, in their 40s, you think your mom does not have a sexual need. And then you're leaving your mother in your house with your husband who has no boundaries. And your husband could be a Jerry Springer husband. A husband is a total stranger. How do you know what kind of a husband you marry? Even you women, How are you going to marry somebody and you trust this person 100%? You don't know he's a pervert and your mother is a pervert. We find it hard to think that a mother can be the most terrible person. Why are you not trying to stay on a budget? You're working doubles. When you work these doubles, what are you going to do with this money? There's nothing wrong with chasing the dollar. There's nothing wrong to chase the shilling. But ask yourself, you got married in your 20s. You got married at a young age. You're so busy working doubles. You're so busy running up and down. You became a nurse. You became a doctor. You are CNA, you are LPN. You're in a healthcare field where the demand is high. You've neglected your family and your children. And let me tell you guys something. I have lived here for 30 years. When it's all said and done, it's not how many buildings you have. It's not how much money you saved. It's not how many doubles you did. It is the time you spent with your children and your spouse. Your family needs you more than your job needs you. Your children need you more than you need your children. Because these children are being raised in a time where there is nobody. What is grandma going to tell the children? Yes, my mom can stay with the kids for me to leave work. If the kids get home at 3:30, I can come an hour and a half late. But my mother is not the primary care of my children. My mother never cooked. My mother never cleaned. My mother never did homework. She didn't go to school. She was old. You don't bring your parents to come and raise the children for you. What kind of children are you going to have? And you think, oh, you know what she's just saying? I have adult children. Let me tell you, the foundation you give your children is everything. Let nobody lie to you that the kids are going to be okay. For those of you who've taken your mothers from your fathers and you brought them here, you are going to look back and regret. You cannot yank your mother from your father to come and babysit for you. That is very selfish. And the reason why I talk about my mom, I tell you, I was a very close child to my father. There are many times I wanted my mom to go back. But these ladies, some of them, like all of us, let's go back to all of us who are married. And this is facts. There's a guy who has written a book. Silas Nyachwaya has written a book, 50 Memos to Men. And in that book, he talks about mothers who raised, parents who raised their children in Nairobi, who raised their children with a lot of struggles, fathers, parents. And when the children made it to come to America, they packed their mothers and left with the mothers. The book talks about that. Go get that book, 50 Memos to Men. And the way he writes it is the truth. My mother was waiting for my last little sister to go to school so she can leave, and she left. There's nothing, it's not a secret. A lot of us women who are married, marriage is hard. Ask me. Marriage is very hard. So I'm looking at my husband because, there's always challenges in the marriage. And I'm saying once Ryan leaves to college, I'm leaving. Men, women think like that. That's how we think. Once these children go, I am going to carry my stuff and leave. Because you know what? Women marry. They go into the man's home. And there are challenges. Sometimes it's his sister who's frustrating you. Sometimes it's his mother. Sometimes men are always frustrating us. And we are always planning to go. And the only time we stay in these marriages, we stay in the marriages hoping that when these children go, we are going to abandon these men and run away. And I'm telling you the truth. Most women think like that. There's a few women who don't think like that. But majority women are planning when the last child leaves. They are leaving. They are not coming back. And even now, I'm a perfect example. I said once my son turns 10, I'm going to travel. Every month, I'm traveling. I don't need anyone to ask me who's asking me where I'm going. Because I've raised the children. When my husband wants to travel, who's asking where he's going? The children are grown. We have adult children. I can go away for a weekend and the kids are fine. Because I raised the kids. Now they can help with the small child. Once the children grow, we are leaving. If you don't have a relationship with your husband, you're going to pack your bags and leave. But for you to take your mother and bring your mother to your house, and put your mother in your house as a house help. You're working 16 hours. A woman with children, you're working 16 hours. And guess what? A lot of you will tell me, Penny, don't blame the woman. I'm not even blaming the woman. Penina, the way I roll this way. My husband asked me out. He had other girls he was asking out. I'm not the only one he was dating. But he saw fit and decided that Penina is going to be my wife. And you know what? I warned him from the beginning because I'm Seventh-day Adventist. Seventh-day Adventist and I'm Kissy. We are keepers. I made it clear to this guy. Listen, if you're going to take me as your wife, this is conditional here. You have to be able to provide. My father was a provider. Was your father a provider? Yes, he told me. Did your mother work? Oh, no, she did not work. Okay, brother. I'm going to be the nice wife. I'm going to work. I'll try. But once the children come, I'm not going to work. Are we together? He said we are together. And yes, once my first child came, the job did not see me. At 3 months pregnant, I stopped working. Because now I was very sick. And I felt like I was carrying the biggest burden ever. I thought my life was just almost coming to an end. I quit my job at 3 months. And I told him, now, you can take over. I was home with my son for a whole year before I started getting tired of seeing a baby crying. And then I went back to work. But meanwhile, this man was holding it down. But there was an agreement that, you know what, once those children come, he's going to provide. Because where I came from, the father provided. Where he came from, the father provided. And I want you to forward 29 years later that we've been married. This man has given all his pennies. He has provided for these children. I tried to work full time. Once the 4th child came, I was not able to work full time. Because where am I? Who's watching 4 children, crying children, American children? Nobody. I quit my job once I had the 4th baby. And we have not sunk. We've still lived a good quality of life. I shop at the thrift store. I budget. I manage the money. Once this man hired me, and those women who tell me I should not blame the women, I'm giving you a long story to tell you why. It is the woman's responsibility to put that shit together. Your shit has to be together. And then to make matters worse, they said this lady had to leave the house. Penina from Nyandoche, me. Penina, me. The woman that my husband hired to run his empire there. I leave the house. He's leaving the house. I just don't even want to believe that this is happening. So now he has hired me. It is my job to put his house together. And Abu should know that he hired me to put his house together. I am present. I'm in charge of the children. I'm in charge of him. I'm in charge of the rats. I'm in charge of the mice. It is my job. He brought me to put that house together. That is why he brought me there. I'm running that empire. I want when he walks around here, he walks with his head high that I got the best employee that is going to put my home together. It is my job to put his home together. And when I quit the job, I went into business. Right? I went into business so that way I can raise my children, so I can be present. I am literally present, and I don't feel anything. Like our mothers used to have cows and goats. Our mothers had tea. Our mothers were productive, but they were present. You could be productive and you're present. You don't sit there and her husband is providing for you. Because remember I told you, in July, they pulled the rug. The company moved. My husband's company moved. Are we sinking? We are not sinking. Because we live a simple life. We just need to eat and meet in the bedroom by 9 p.m. with my children. We all sit down and pray. And life is simple. And guess what? We don't have plots in Kenya. We have no investments. What do we need the investments for? We've saved for retirement. We have no investments and we are okay. All we have is memories. Memories that we've created together with this family. The way my father was raising us and my mom is the same way we are raising our children, because this is home. We are so busy touching one hand here, one hand here. No. This is home. How can you work 16 hours every day? What's wrong with you? You're working 16 hours for who? For what? If you cannot do business from home, sit down with your husband and stay on a budget. Another thing, the saddest thing, why are we not taking the children to daycare? You pay daycare. The first time I ever took my child to daycare back in the day, it was $240 a week in daycare. So I used to go to work because I wanted to go to work. And my paycheck that I made in a group home went to the daycare. Why are you not taking your children to a daycare? Yes, our mothers are crazy. And let me tell you, some of these mothers, they act like, oh, wameenda na nani. Some of these our mothers, they are like, oh, Walter picked mom so she can go to Walmart. No. Walter went to have sex with your mother. You don't know your mother is nasty. That's the thing. You think every African thinks their mother is nice. Some of us mothers are nasty. We do nasty things. We do nasty things. If you cannot find something that you can do, live a simple life. Downsize your house. Find something that you need to do. Identify what do you want to do. Because now bringing your mother from your father to come and stay here, and your father is back there taking care of the cows, one day you're going to look back and you will say, Penina said it. It is going to happen to you. For those of you men who take your mothers to bring your mothers here and you leave your father, one day that your wife is going to leave you, because now you brought your mother to your house. You're driving your wife crazy in your house. One day your wife is going to leave you. As women, we feel good when we are planning to leave you. That's the only way we stay married. We are planning to leave you once the children go. And some of us will execute that. We are going to leave you. Why is your mother in your house? Why is your father back home suffering alone? Your father was helpful at that time. He helped even give you the sperm. Why are these mothers here? What are they doing here? And I used to tell my mom, it is not, I tell you, it's not a secret because I have to write it down. Because my family thought that we are holding mother hostage here. Mother wanted to be here. I used to tell my mom, even me who came here at 19, I'm not going to stay here. I cannot fit in this society. I need to go back home. And the reason why I didn't want to invest so much back home, I'm inheriting land. I'm married. You know, my father told us to go marry to families where there is something. I'm married to a home. I don't need to buy land. I have land waiting for me. And in fact, while I'm on this, some of you sister-in-laws who went to marry into poverty, now you want to come. That's another topic. Now you want to come and start fighting our husband, our properties. Yes, the government is going to give you something. But listen, if you went to start dating poor men, and now you want to come and fight what my father-in-law is giving you. My land is my land. You ladies, you have to be tough with this sister-in-law. Some of them are full of shit. They just went and got useless boys. Now they want to come and fight us. That rubbish has to stop. If you're marrying a man, you're dating a man, find a man that has something. So you don't have to work so hard. Now you go marry all these useless boys, broke boys, and now you want to come into my home and fight me. No. You sister-in-law, stop the rubbish. You should have not fallen in love with a broke boy. Now you're coming back at you. Oh, give me this. We'll give you what the government is saying. But otherwise, you ain't getting shit. Because it was your job to interview a man before you start having children with him. Now you want to come and fight us. Ladies, you've been hired in that position. Do not entertain the rubbish of sister-in-laws. Do not entertain the rubbish of mother-in-laws who are driving you nuts and you guys chicken out. No, your mother-in-law came the same way you came there. Take your property, get the surveyors, get your land and stay in your place. There is nobody who's scaring you. You picked that man. Abu was not the only man that asked me out. There were other men. But I chose this one because I said, hey, this one, they have something. Me, I don't want to go start from scratch because I wasn't starting from scratch. You have to have something for yourself. You're so busy working double so you can buy land and then what? What are you buying the land for? For who? For what? Who are you pleasing? Raise your children. I was only supposed to talk for 10 minutes. I've talked for 30 minutes. And that is taking time out of my busy schedule. Return those mothers to their husbands. And let me tell you, just in case you don't know, you young women, I am 50. An orgasm at 50 feels the same way an orgasm felt at 21. Sex in the night with my husband, the same way it felt is the same way today. Sex doesn't change. Sex is a natural thing that we crave for. Don't try to pretend that I don't like it. Oh no. You take your mother from where she's been getting sex on a regular basis. You come and put her in your house. And some of you're sleeping there in the night and having sex loud. Even morning. You're having sex with your husband. Your morning. That morning can turn your mother on. Hey? That can turn your mother on. Just it's like porn. Real porn. And you think your mother's sexual organs are broken. No. At 50, they are as sharp as an antenna. Don't think that your mom looks 50 now at you. Oh, no, she can't have sex. 60, no. That book, 50 Shades of Grey, that is now when the mind is there at peace now. The children are grown. Now your libido is up there. Even that man who used to give you a headache, you've left him in Kenya. Nobody's giving you a headache. You're in your house, you're eating. And you know, a woman who's eating, the libido is up there. Once you eat good, oh, like once you really eat, I know. I only speak from things I know. Once I'm full nicely, I'm rested, I'm not worried, I start feeling ting. At 50, I'm feeling ting. You think your mother at 50, she's not feeling anything. And even I plan to feel ting at 60. Because I'll be quiet. I'd have invested well. My children will be done with college. Who told you that your mother at 50, the ting ended? Ting is very, very important. And it's even feeling better because now, at 50, you're financially stable. You don't even have like stress. The stress is just children doing rubbish. The only stress you can have, which we don't entertain some of us, is adult children rubbish. These children who've turned 18 doing rubbish and you've sacrificed for them. You just look at them and you tell them it is your destination. And you don't lack sleep because they are doing rubbish. No. Did your parents lack sleep because you're doing rubbish? No, you gave them the foundation. Right now, it is the time for me to go book a hotel, have sex in the hotel in Europe, go to Asia, go to India with my husband. The libido is still good. When I'm still touched, I'm still feeling electricity. And now you want to bring your mother. You take me, Penina, at 50 to come stay in your room and then watch the children. And I have a smartphone. Some of these your mothers watch porn. We are the generation of porn. 50-year-old mothers, we were watching porn. Now you want your mother to just stay there and don't do nothing with crying. And you know this American just I want that. All day, these children, and they can't even speak English. They can't speak Ekeusi, they are speaking. You're going to have a lot of stress. And then now these women, they are not there. The husband, the thing is getting up. It has nowhere to go. And the mother-in-law is walking around. You know, your mother-in-law is sexy. Look at me. I can be a mother, somebody's mother-in-law. My son is 24 and I'm sexy. Who knows that I'm 50? No. Stop that rubbish. Let me go do some work. Go to my Instagram and like my Instagram. Because you know what? I'm trying to be in business. And if you're in Minnesota, let's see each other in Minnesota this weekend. I'm packing my luggage. Tomorrow is just to get in the flight and with my daughter and just go have a good time. Don't think that these things don't need a lot of brains to do. It doesn't matter what you do for work. You can start your own business and make a career out of it. Women, I said all this to say this. Don't tell me I blame you. You have the responsibility once you start having children to put your shit together. Your husband is not going to put your shit together. Your wife is, your in-laws are not going to put your shit together in your home. Be in charge the way your mother-in-law is in charge. Be a badass wife. Put your shit together. And there is no man throwing me out of my house. I'll be throwing him out of the house. There is no man who's putting me out with my children. That shit is not happening. Remember that? No. That rubbish is not happening. You're there crying at your mother. You brought your mother. You put her out and you put the man out. Let them go find an apartment. And you put your children to bed, wash them nicely. You know, at now you're the one going to run away. They told me that this girl ran away. Me, Penina, from Yandoche, Penina. I ran away from my house and leave Abraham and Eunice in my house. First of all, Eunice could have been they could have been arrested right there together. I wasn't even going to allow them to wear clothes. I was going to throw them out, and I closed the door and I called the police. And you know the way I like the phone? I'd have had a video. By now, Eunice and Abraham's video will be going viral. This video, everybody will be seeing Eunice. I will not even think that Eunice is my mother. When it comes to sin is sin. I'm not chickening out. I'm telling you, ladies, do not chicken out. Let these men not scare you. Some of these men are mentally unstable. Some of your mothers are mentally unstable. Disconnect yourself through prayer from these demonic mothers, from these demonic husbands, from these demonic siblings. People are demonic. Stay away from the demons. When you see a demon, run. When you see these demons surrounding your area, run. Don't stop and entertain these demons in the name of a husband, in the name of a mother, in the name of... No, these are demonic things. Send them away. Pray for those demons to go away. Do not run away. Fight back. And when you go in the army, you are told, when you see your enemy, finish that enemy before they finish you. Yeah? Finish the enemy before they finish you. And in this case, it is the mother. The mother. Your mother. Your own mother. Is this a true story? Your own mother. Finish that enemy before they finish you.